we covered expressions, and this is a highly useful expression called inertial bounce. Now, if you copy this straight out of your PowerPoint slides, it will not work because it's going to remove all the returns. So I pasted it into this After Effects um, work file that you're going to have in Canvas, and you're also going to have the PowerPoint slides. But you must have the returns like they are here for the expression to work. Now, the important part of this is these three lines right here: amplitude, frequency, and decay. The amplitude is how high it's going to bounce off the initial bounce. The frequency is the amount of times it'll be bouncing, and the decay is how much it'll fade in between, like we did with the overshooting rotation, how it's going to gradually sway back and forth until it comes to its final resting spot. So the higher the number, the less of the decay that there will be. So if we change this from a 2 to a 0.4, it's going to rapidly change the way that this looks. So I'm going to just scale this up a little bit so that you can see a little bit better. So I've got my circle here. I'll put it on the top. Hit save. Okay. For this effect to work, you need some keyframes. So I'm going to position keyframe this over about, let's say, 17 frames. Fine. Nah, make it even 18. All right. And this is just going to come straight down the screen, like such. So it's just going to go straight down. I added my 2 keyframes. So I'm going to select the expression, and I'm going to Option or Alt click inside and paste it. So now when it comes down, you see it's starting to bounce with the overshoot. That's just using 2 keyframes and this expression. So that's the first one. Now I'm going to duplicate the layer, and I want it to move over to the side. So here's a little trick. If I select both keyframes, both of them have to be selected and the playhead has to be over it. I'm just going to slide this over to the side. Now you'll notice both of them moved together. It's at 989 and 989, whereas the other file is at 480 and 480 for the X value. So if you realize you're like, oh, I've got to move this over to the side, and you select all the keyframes and you're over one of the keyframes, you can then move your X or your Y values for all of the keyframes doing that. Just a neat little trick I wanted to show you. So I'm going to change these numbers for this second one that I've made. So I'm going to select all this, copy, I'm going to go in here, paste the expression, and I will make my amplitude, I'll make this a 1. My frequency, I'll make it 9, and the decay, I'll make it 0.4. Now we'll watch the two of them. I'm going to hit the 0 key. What's going on with this? You see how they're moving differently just based off those 3 changes to the expression. So I'm going to hide these. And I'm going to try something new. I'm going to make a star. Now I've got no layers selected. That's why it made the shape instead of creating a mask. I'm just going to center this. Right there? Okay. Now let's see what happens if we select this code. Now I'm going to try it with scaling. So I'm going to have this come on here, right about over here, scale it up. So let's see what happens if I option click, paste my code, see if I'll get an overshoot for the scale. See that? It works with scale, it'll work with rotation. You just set your keyframes first. So this isn't just for position. You could use it for overshoot for scale and rotation as well. And these are the variables you'll change. So that's just some ways you could get a little bit creative with the inertial bounce expression.